Shadows try to dim your glow. Remember your beacon, a guiding light.
Welcome back to Bilingual Health and Wealth Academy. And today we're going to be doing something a little different. We're not just looking at information, we're looking at the story behind the information.
Ooh, I like that. A little behind the scenes action.
Exactly. And this one is pretty interesting. So we're looking at Plant-Based Living, A Path to Health and Sustainability by Dr. Shu Chen Hu. And Dr. Hu is not like your average author. She has a PhD. She also writes children's books and composes music.
Wow. That's impressive.
Yeah. And then it gets even more interesting. When you look into the company that she founded, Kokushungsan Ltd., and their mission is all about making education accessible to everyone.
That's great. It's kind of what we're doing here.
Right.
Trying to make learning fun and engaging.
Totally.
Yeah.
So we've got this author with this diverse background. We've got this company with a really important mission. And then we've got this book about plant-based living.
I'm seeing some connections here.
Yeah. What is plant-based living all about? Well, from the excerpt that we have, it seems to cover a lot. It starts with the basics of plant-based nutrition. Like really explaining like what are the core principles? How do you get all the nutrients you need from plants?
Makes sense. There's a lot of kind of misinformation about plant-based eating. Can you really get enough protein or iron?
Right. And this seems to address that head on. Talking about macronutrients,
Okay.
like protein, carbohydrates, and fats, and how to get them on a plant-based diet.
So they're not just giving recipes. They're starting with the fundamentals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they also talk about the micronutrients.
Okay.
Things like iron and calcium, and even vitamin B12, which can be a little trickier on a plant-based diet.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
it's like they're anticipating your questions.
Yeah.
So I think it's what a good resource should do.
I agree.
And it goes beyond just the science of nutrition. There's a whole section on the environmental impact of food choices.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. They actually compare like the environmental costs of producing plant-based foods versus animal-based foods. And the numbers are pretty eye-opening.
I bet. That's a powerful argument, I think, for making more conscious food choices. Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's a whole chapter dedicated to ethical considerations and animal welfare.
Right. Because for a lot of people, that's a huge part of it. You know, aligning your actions with your values.
Exactly. It's really about understanding where your food comes from and the impact of those choices
Yeah.
on animals and the environment.
And being responsible for that.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's not all doom and gloom.
Right.
They talk about the joys of plant-based eating, the delicious recipes, creative meal ideas, the sense of community that often comes with this.
That's great. So it's not just about deprivation. It's about all these like positive aspects.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And they even talk about the importance of listening to your body, finding what works for you, being flexible in your approach. It's about creating a sustainable and enjoyable lifestyle.
So it's very holistic. It's not just about the food itself. It's about this bigger picture
Right.
of well-being.
Totally.
Yeah.
And speaking of Kokushungsan, remember their mission to make education accessible.
Yeah.
This book is like a perfect example of that.
It's like putting their money where their mouth is.
Right.
Not just talking about it,
Yeah.
but actually creating resources that are going to make a difference.
Totally.
Yeah.
And in a way, that's kind of what we're doing here too.
Trying to break down these complex topics
Yeah.
and make them understandable and relatable.
Exactly. So anyone out there who's feeling inspired, definitely check out Plant-Based Living. We'll be here to guide you through all the key takeaways and give you some extra insights along the way.
I'm excited to dive into the specifics, like what kind of information do they actually provide about plant-based nutrition, you know, beyond just the basic principles.
Absolutely. In the next part of our deep dive, we're going to be getting into those fundamentals. We're going to break down what they say about macronutrients, micronutrients, all the essential nutrients that you need to thrive on a plant-based diet.
Sounds good.
So stay tuned.
All right, so let's get into like the actual nutrition stuff,
Yeah.
like the nitty-gritty.
They really start from the beginning. Like they have an introduction to plant-based nutrition, and then they go right into essential nutrients and dietary needs.
So they're not messing around.
It's,
Straight to the point.
Yeah.
I like it.
so they break it down like the macronutrients, carbs, proteins, fats,
Okay.
and how you can get enough of each. On a plant-based diet,
Makes sense.
like for example, they talk about combining different plant-based protein sources, like beans and rice, to make sure you're getting
Right.
all 9 essential amino acids.
Right. That's like the classic example, you know,
Sure.
of getting a complete protein on a plant-based diet. Cool.
And then they don't shy away from like those trickier micronutrients either. Like they have a whole section on things like iron and calcium
Yeah.
and even vitamin B12, which could be, harder to get on a vegan diet.
Yeah, for sure.
So they're not just promoting it.
Right.
They're actually like giving you the knowledge
They're giving you the tools.
Yeah.
Yeah, to succeed.
to actually do it.
Yeah.
Like they talk about incorporating fortified plant-based milk and nutritional yeast into your diet to make sure you're getting enough B12.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Right.
Nutritional yeast is like a secret weapon for plant-based eaters.
And then they even talk about like omega-3 fatty acids, which a lot of people think you can only get from fish.
Right.
But you can get it from plant-based sources too.
Like flax seeds and chia seeds.
Yeah.
Walnut.
Yeah.
That's
So it's all about like filling those knowledge gaps, like helping you understand what you actually need
Yeah.
and how to get it.
Cool.
So we've covered the like nutrition basics, but what about like the bigger picture?
Yeah.
Like how does this book connect individual choices to like
Yeah.
the health of the planet?
Right. Because it's not just about us.
Yeah.
It's about the whole ecosystem.
Yeah. So they have a whole chapter on the environmental impact of plant-based living.
Okay.
They talk about reducing greenhouse gas emissions, conserving water and land, minimizing pollution
So like the big issues,
that we're facing.
they don't sugarcoat it. They're
Right.
like, this is the impact
Yeah.
of your choices. And they actually compare like the environmental costs of producing different types of food.
Okay.
And the differences are pretty crazy. Like, for example, they point out that producing a pound of beef requires significantly more water and land than like a pound of lentils.
Wow. That's a big difference.
Yeah.
It's crazy to think about.
And then, of course, they dedicate a whole chapter to ethical considerations.
Right.
Like animal welfare, factory farming practices.
That's a tough one,
Yeah.
but important to address.
And they do it in a way that's like sensitive and respectful,
Okay.
like presenting the information, encouraging people to think critically
Yeah.
about their own values and beliefs.
So they're not preaching, they're just informing. Okay.
So we've talked about nutrition, we've talked about the environment, we've talked about ethics.
Right.
But we can't forget about the deliciousness factor.
A fun part.
Yeah.
Like they have a whole section
Yeah.
dedicated to recipes and meal ideas,
Okay. Okay.
showing that it's not
Yeah.
like boring or bland.
Right.
Yeah.
It can be exciting and flavorful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they talk about the importance of like using seasonal ingredients,
Yeah.
supporting local farmers, minimizing food waste.
So it's like sustainability on every level.
Totally.
That's cool.
It all comes back to that core idea of empowerment.
Yeah.
This book is not just a cookbook. It's not just a science textbook.
It's a guide.
It's a guide
Yeah.
to making informed choices, creating a life that aligns with your values.
So where do we go from here? Like, what's the next step for someone who's listening to this and they're like, okay, I'm interested. What do I do?
That's a great question. And it's one that the book actually addresses. So in the final part of our deep dive, we're going to explore that practical side. Like, how do you actually transition to a plant-based lifestyle? How
Right.
do you overcome challenges, find support? We're going to get into all that. So we've talked about the science behind it, the why behind plant-based living. But now let's talk about the how.
Right? Like, how do you actually do it?
Exactly.
Okay.
And they actually give you some, like, practical guidance
Cool.
on how to transition. And they recognize that, like, not everyone is the same. Like, some people might want to go all in,
Yeah.
right? Others might prefer a more gradual approach.
Like, ease into it.
Exactly. And they give you tips for both.
Okay.
Like, they talk about meal planning, grocery shopping, even navigating social situations.
Yeah, that's a good one. Because sometimes that can be like the hardest part.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like trying to explain your choices to like your family or friends
Yeah.
who maybe don't understand.
Totally.
It can be tricky.
And they give you some, like, helpful tips and advice on how to handle those situations.
Oh.
And then they talk about the importance of, like, finding your tribe, like finding other people who are on a similar journey.
Right. Community.
Yeah.
Super important. Yeah.
Or support and motivation.
Exactly. Like they suggest.
Yeah.
Joining online groups,
Yeah.
attending local meetups, finding resources that can provide like encouragement and inspiration.
So you don't feel like you're doing it alone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they even talk about like those common challenges, like dealing with cravings, finding plant-based alternatives
Right.
for your favorite foods.
Like, what do I do if I'm craving a burger?
Yeah,
You know that.
exactly. Or like, how do I stay motivated
Yeah.
over the long term?
Yeah, because it's a lifestyle change.
Yeah.
Not just like
Right.
a quick fix.
Right.
It's a journey.
And I love how they emphasize the importance of being flexible. It's not about being perfect. It's about finding what works for you
Totally.
and adapting as needed.
Yeah, and being kind to yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it sounds like this book is really a great resource for anyone who is interested in exploring plant-based living.
Yeah, it seems like they've covered all the bases, like
Yeah.
from the science to the practical tips. Totally. So if you're feeling inspired by what you've learned today, I highly recommend checking it out. Plant-Based Living by Dr. Shu Chen Hao.
And if you want to learn more about Kokoshungsan Ltd. and the work that they do, you can visit their website, kokoshungsan.net.
Yes. And remember, knowledge is power, but only when we put it into practice.
Right.
So take what you've learned today and go out there and create
Yeah.
the healthy, wealthy, and sustainable life you deserve.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, that's all the time we have for today
Thanks for joining us.
on this deep dive into the world of plant-based living.
Rise up, feel the fire in your chest. Chase dreams, put your doubts to the test. Raise your voice, let your spirit be free. No fear, no limits, just believe. Every stumble, every fall, just a chance to rise. In the darkest night, stars still light up the skies. You're a fighter, you're a force, don't you ever give up. Take a stand, make a mark, show the world your true love. Shine on, like a diamond in the sky. Reach high and let your spirit fly. Together we'll rise, we won't be denied. Shine on, you were born to light up the night. In the depths of the night, when shadows try to dim your glow, remember you're a beacon, a guiding light. The stars echo, hold on to hope. Let it fuel your burning desire. For in every challenge lies the spark of a brighter fire. So when the journey gets tough and the road seems long, just close your eyes, hear the chorus and carry on strong. With each step, with each breath, let your brilliance ignite. For you, my friend, were meant to shine on through the night. Rise up, feel the fire in your chest. Chase dreams, put your doubts to the test. Raise your voice, let your spirit be free. No fear, no limits, just believe. Every stumble, every fall, just a chance to rise in the darkest night. Stars still light up the skies. You're a fighter, you're a force. Don't you ever give up, take a stand. Make a mark, show the world your true love. Shine on, like a diamond in the sky. Reach high, let your spirit fly. Together we'll rise, we won't be denied. Shine on, you were born to light up the night. Rise up, feel the fire in your chest. Chase dreams, put your doubts to the test. Raise your voice, let your spirit be free. No fear, no limits, just believe. Every stumble, every fall, just a chance to rise in the darkest night. Stars still light up the skies. You're a fighter, you're a force. Don't you ever give up, take a stand. Make a mark, show the world your true love. Shine on, like a diamond in the sky. Reach high, let your spirit fly. Together we'll rise, we won't be denied. You were born to light up the night. Rise up, feel the fire in your chest, chase dreams, put your doubts to the test. Raise your voice, let your spirit be free. No fear, no limits, just believe. Every stumble, every fall, just a chance to rise in the darkest night. Stars to light up the skies. You're a fighter, you're a force. Don't you ever give up, take a stand. Make a mark, show the world your true love. Shine on like a diamond in the sky. Reach high, let your spirit fly. Together we'll rise, we won't be denied. You were born to light up the night. Shine on, you were born to light up the night. Shine on, like a spirit fly. Together we'll rise, we won't be denied. Shine on you, you were born to light up the night. In the depths of the night, when shadows try to dim your glow, remember you're a beacon, a guiding light, as stars echo. Hold on to hope, let it fuel your burning desire. For in every challenge lies the spark of a brighter fire. So when the journey gets tough and the road seems long, just close your eyes, hear the chorus and carry on strong. With each step, with each breath, let your brilliance ignite. For you, my friend, were meant to shine on through the night.